Single mother brings daughter to work and discovers incredible connection with millionaire CEO. Marissa pushed the elevator button with her elbow, balancing Ellie on her hip while juggling a tote bag filled with color markers and paper. They were running late, and her heart raced with the anxiety of a single mother trying to do it all. Ellie, with her wild curls and big hazel eyes, twinkled like the sun. "Mommy, can I draw a rainbow card for the nice veterans?" she asked, her voice brightening the dimness of the office lobby. Marissa's heart swelled. "Of course, sweet pea. Just remember not to spill your stickers." But deep down, she knew today was going to be a challenge. Her low-paying job at the nonprofit never felt heavier than today, with pressing deadlines colliding with her commitment to nurture Ellie's artistic spirit. The office maintained a focus on the good work they did, but it echoed with dreams deferred just like hers. As they walked in, the smell of old coffee mingled with lingering hope. Marissa set Ellie on the floor with a couple of sheets and colored pencils, watching her begin to create. The little girl poured her heart into her art, applying each stroke of color with love and care. But just as Marissa settled down to tackle her own workload, the silence shattered. The office door swung open, and in walked Jack. Jack was the kind of man who owned rooms, a sleek silhouette framed by crisp designer clothes. He could easily be mistaken for just another corporate giant, yet something in his step caught attention. As he drew closer, his gaze fell on Ellie, ensconced in her vibrant universe of colors. She didn't flinch under his scrutiny. She simply smiled shyly. Moments passed. Jack crouched down, his shadows drawing nearer to where Ellie worked. "What are you making?" he asked, genuine curiosity shimmering in his eyes. "Cards for veterans." Ellie's face glowed like the sunset. "They fought for us, so I want to make them happy." Marissa's heart pounded with skepticism, the way her stomach clenched at the thought of Jack's wealth. Was this just a game for him? Or was he genuinely captivated by Ellie's spirit? She couldn't shake the worry. Could an elite figure like Jack truly understand the challenges they faced every day? "Wow," Jack said, his voice softening. "That's really special." The sincerity in his tone struck a chord within her, and she hesitated. Would he offer something beyond this moment, or inspire galloping fears of entitlement instead? Before they could gather their thoughts, an office colleague remarked to another, "He probably sees this as just a tax write-off. How are a couple of cards going to change the world?" Murmurs like waves rolled through the room, stewardship versus cynicism clashing in harsh whispers. Then, a whirlwind moment. Jack turned, locking eyes with Marissa. "We should team up," he proposed boldly. "I'd love for you to come work with me, where you can really make a difference." The room fell silent. A part of Marissa leaped at the opportunity, escape from her burdens, a chance to rise, to forge a better future, not just for herself but for Ellie. Yet doubt weighed heavy on her heart. Would prosperity mean losing her roots? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet as the conversation continued, it became clear. The environment buzzed with tension, hope, and disbelief. Marissa could sense the potential unfolding before her. Stark choices looming. Could she trust Jack, or would she let her fears win out? The moment hung thick in the air, fraying her resolve as she glanced at Ellie. Her daughter's joyful laughter erupted in the middle of artistic bliss, illuminated by innocence. The connection between Jack and Ellie blossomed, growing roots even as Marissa wrestled with the urgency of the choice at hand. Their world collided, fraught with rich, raw emotion. A question surfaced. Would courage overpower the chains of her past, or would she bind herself to the shadows of her struggles? The clock ticked, the instant nonchalantly wrapped around them as if it held its breath, an invitation, a challenge. Would Marissa seize this fleeting chance for change, igniting the spark within? Or would she retreat back to her life of unfulfilled dreams, leaving Jack to ponder what authentic connection truly meant within the corporate din? Marissa took a deep breath, her eyes flitting between Jack and Ellie. The ambient chatter around them faded into an echo, leaving her with only the sound of her racing heart. She could feel the tension in the air, thick and alive. Did she dare to step outside the familiar boundaries of her life? Jack, she began, but words danced away from her as doubt settled in. She had spent years building walls around her heart, protecting Ellie from the unpredictability of life. What if this opportunity was just another mirage, destined to crumble away when it mattered most? But there was something familiar about Jack's gaze. It held the kind of honesty that made her pause. Making a difference. She echoed softly. Could she really do that? Was the chance to help others worth the risk of venturing into a world she didn't quite belong to? Then Ellie's voice pierced through the haze, bright and full of hope. Mommy, can we really help the veterans together? She looked up at Marissa, her innocent eyes shining brightly. It was a plea. A spark ignited within a world of uncertainties. Marissa knelt down, disposing of her worries for just a moment. Yes, sweetheart. We can. The truth flowed out without reservation, and for a fleeting second her fears softened. She was not only a mother but the woman who could shift destinies. Jack's expression shifted, a smile forming on his lips. Yes. Imagine the impact we could make. I've been working on a new initiative that he paused, calculating the room, reassessing who was listening. That focuses on rebuilding communities with innovative programs. We could use your vision, Marissa. It's not just about numbers and profits, it's about real change. Her heart thumped painfully loud. Attention grew thick on her too, drawn to a glimmer of possibility. But hidden under that glimmer was the fear that the shadows of her past would suffocate that change. Could a single moment fix years of struggle? Can I come with you, Mommy? Ellie chimed. Her little fingers gripped the markers tightly, as if she had already begun to paint the change she wished to see. Marissa felt her stomach twist. Honey, it's not that easy, she replied, though her mind screamed, what if this was our chance? Jack was watching her closely, waiting for her answer, and the eyes of her colleagues seemed to bore into her, some curious, some skeptical. Could she trust their intentions? Or would working with Jack mean sacrificing everything she held dear? But you're more than capable of making a difference. Jack's encouragement was like a lifeline. I'll guide you through every step. This isn't just a corporate gig. It's an opportunity to connect with those who need help the most. In that moment, the world around her shifted. Marissa lifted her chin slightly, feeling the prospect of change swell within her. What if she stepped onto this path with Jack? Could they truly do something remarkable together? She saw Ellie's excitement mirrored in Jack's determination, and suddenly Marissa understood she wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. This was for Ellie. For their futures, both brighter possibilities woven together. The initiative she began, her voice steadier. What comes next? Jack smiled, his features brightening like dawn breaking over the horizon. We start with a meeting. I want you involved from the ground up. Let's redefine the narrative of these veteran stories together. Their connection deepened. Every word wrapped Marissa in renewed hope. The room felt alive again, filled with whispers of encouragement and skepticism intermingled. Marissa stood firm, steadying her resolve. Show me what you've got, Jack. Let us see if this is real. And as the day unfolded before them, the path she had once feared now seemed lined with possibilities, waiting for her to make that first brave step into the unknown. But as they prepared for the upcoming meeting, a shadow flickered at the corner of Marissa's thoughts. What rough waters might she have to navigate? And what might this mean for her fragile balance of trust with Jack? The real journey was just beginning. Marissa arrived at the conference room early the next morning, her heart a whirlwind of excitement and dread. The walls were adorned with motivational posters, and the air carried the faint scent of fresh coffee. She could hear the distant hum of conversations, punctuated by the rolling sound of tables being rearranged. Jack was already there, flipping through a stack of papers. His focus seemed unwavering, and yet when he saw her, his face lit up. You made it, he said, his enthusiasm infectious. Wouldn't he miss it for the world, she replied, trying to match his brightness with a smile, though the tightness in her chest remained. As others filtered in, Marissa caught snippets of their conversations, buzzwords like impact and innovation dancing in the air. She took a seat beside Jack, who leaned in. We're going to present our vision first. I'll outline the goals and you can share your ideas. Together we'll set the tone. Marissa blinked at him, a mix of disbelief and fear sneaking in. What if they don't take me seriously? Why wouldn't they? You're the heart of this initiative. Trust me, they'll listen, he replied, his encouragement flowing through her like warmth on a chilly day. With every moment leading up to the presentation, her anxiety ebbed and flowed. Thoughts of Ellie flickered through her mind. Her little girl's excitement made this all seem worthwhile. As the meeting commenced, Marissa found herself enthralled by Jack's passion. He spoke with a fervor that was almost magnetic, laying out plans to support veterans through community partnerships and rebuilding efforts. Every word he uttered wove a narrative that felt so different from the world of numbers she'd been stuck in for years. When it was finally Marissa's turn, she felt a familiar rush of fear wash over her. She took a deep breath, feeling the gaze of her colleagues heavy upon her. But she knew that this was not just about her. Ellie's yearning to help flooded her with confidence. Good morning, everyone, she began, her voice slightly shaky. What Jack and I envision isn't just a program. It's a movement, one built on compassion and genuine human connection. As she spoke, words tumbled out, driven by a deep desire to make a meaningful impact. With each idea she presented, she could feel the room shift, the skeptics narrowing their eyes in consideration, the supporters leaning in closer. When she finished, the silence held a weight of contemplation. Jack turned to her, nodding with pride, but the feeling in the room was heavier than anticipated. A hand shot up from the back. The skeptical CFO, Marissa remembered. This sounds great in theory, but how do you plan to implement it successfully without draining our resources? The question struck her like a blow to the gut. She opened her mouth, her mind racing, but Jack was quick to respond. This initiative has the potential to create more revenue streams through community involvement, even reducing costs down the line. Marissa saw the flicker of doubt in some eyes but also noticed those leaning in with curiosity. An undercurrent of hope swelled in her chest. Could this actually be happening? After the meeting, chatter erupted. Some were buzzing with excitement. Others appeared contemplative, a mix that mirrored her own internal struggle. Marissa turned to Jack. Did we do enough? Her voice was fraught with uncertainty. Enough? We sparked something, he replied, his eyes shining. But as he spoke, she couldn't shake the looming worry. What if they were just moments away from a bigger backlash? Suddenly, Ellie's angelic face drifted into her thoughts again, and the memory of her tiny hands preparing to help hung in the air. Could that dream become a reality? As they left the conference room, Marissa felt a shiver run down her spine. The journey ahead promised to be riddled with challenges, but equally filled with opportunity. How far would she and Jack be willing to go, and what sacrifices would they need to make for the veterans and their families? And so, as she stepped into the bright hallway, the reality of the moment crashed against her, a new path unfolding before her with decisions to navigate. But would she and Jack be strong enough to carry the weight of it all? Marissa stepped away from the conference room, her heartbeat still racing. The hallway was brightly lit, almost blinding after the dim light of the conference space. Jack walked beside her, a buoyant energy radiating off him. Did you see their faces? He laughed, a sound so genuine it made her smile despite the anxiety gnawing at her. We've got them thinking. But beneath his cheerful exterior, Marissa sensed uncertainty. She glanced over at him, wondering how well he could mask his own fears. What if this doesn't go as planned, Jack? What if they don't believe in us? Or worse, he replied, his expression turning serious. What if they stop believing in each other? That's even more of a risk. A moment of silence stretched between them, thick with the weight of unspoken realities. Marissa thought of Ellie back at home, her bright smile a reminder of why this meant so much. This wasn't just about launching a program. It was about creating a legacy that could change lives, including her own. As they approached the elevators, she took a deep breath. I need to make this work, not just for myself, but for her, Marissa murmured almost to herself. And you will, Jack replied, his voice steady. That passion is what will drive this forward. I've been thinking, what? I'd love for you to meet my friend Richard. He's got a foundation that might align with our goals. Marissa's brow furrowed. A Millionaire CEO? Why would he be interested in us? Because he cares. He's been looking for initiatives that make a difference. And with your ideas, I think he might actually want to help, Jack said, his enthusiasm bubbling again. Okay, but it seems a bit far-fetched, don't you think? Jack shrugged, his smile unwavering. Sometimes the best things come from taking that leap. You won't know until you try. Marissa bit her lip. The idea of reaching out to someone like that made her skin crawl with apprehension, but deep down, a spark of excitement flickered. What if Jack was right? What if this was the door they needed to burst open? They stepped into the elevator, and as the doors slid shut, the tension felt heavier. She could hear the gears whirring, echoing in the small metal box. What if Richard doesn't take me seriously? She blurted, the question bursting forth before she could check herself. Just be you, Marissa, Jack said reassuringly. See your passion. It's infectious. The elevator dinged, and the doors slid open, revealing a bustling floor of coworkers hustling about. Marissa stepped out, her nerves electrified by the buzz of possibility. As they reached their desks, Marissa noticed her phone blinking with notifications. She picked it up and saw a message from LES school. Please come to the class tomorrow for our Bring Your Parent to Work day. A smile broke through her anxiety. It was a small moment, but it felt monumental, a chance to show Ellie the impact of hope in action. I have to prepare for tomorrow, Marissa said, her voice lifting with joy. Can I help? Jack asked, already moving closer, the soft kindness in his gaze encouraging. Sure. I'd love that. But I might need to change some things. It's about how we can work together, right? At home and here. Their eyes met, and for a brief second, Marissa felt a rush of clarity. Together, they could be the advocates they desired for their families, their world. Exactly. And in a week we can meet Richard, he chimed, pulling her back into the plan. But as she nodded, a hesitant whisper in the back of her mind lingered. Was she truly ready for this next leap? Would the realities of corporate life balance with her dreams of transformation? As the day drew to a close, Marissa stood on the edge of something new and frightening. The possibilities lay before her, but would she have the strength to carry them through? Tomorrow would reveal her next step. And with each passing moment, she felt the weight of what that choice might mean. What if it changed everything? Marissa woke up the next morning to the sound of LES laughter floating through the air. It was a sound that brought warmth to her heart, a reminder of the happiness she was fighting for. She could hardly believe today was the day of the Bring Your Parent to Work day. The idea that she'd be standing in front of her daughter's classmates felt both thrilling and terrifying. Hastily she dressed, opting for a blazer that her sister had joked made her look like the boss. As she glanced in the mirror, she forced herself to smile, even though the flutter of nerves ebbed away at her confidence. You can do this, she whispered, trying to drown out the voice of self-doubt. After a quick breakfast, filled with LES eagerness and chatter about her class, they hopped into the car. The drive felt infinite, with each stoplight stretching out the anticipation. Marissa sneaked glances at Ellie, who was busy chatting away about her favorite field trip. Mom, are you nervous? Ellie suddenly asked, her big brown eyes sparkling with innocence. A little, Marissa admitted, squeezing her daughter's hand reassuringly. But I also think it's going to be a lot of fun. When they arrived at school, the building buzzed with energy. Parents mingled with teachers, and younger students scuttled around like excited ants. Marissa couldn't help but take a deep breath. This was a big moment not just for her, but for Ellie too. She wanted to show her daughter that stepping out of one's comfort zone could lead to something beautiful. The classroom was filled with colorful drawings and crafts. Ellie led her to a small table at the front, and Marissa took a moment to soak in the atmosphere, feeling pride swelling in her chest. All right, kids. Let us start. This is Marissa, LES mom. The teacher introduced her, and a wave of applause erupted from the little hands. It felt surreal, overwhelming, but in that moment she had the attention of not just the kids, but the feeling of her daughter's admiration. Marissa's heart raced as she shared bits of her job, even weaving in the experiences from yesterday's meeting. As the words spilled out, something shifted inside her. You can make a difference no matter how big or small, she said, her voice steady now. Just remember that every action counts. The room erupted into questions and curious faces. How do you make a plan? One child asked. What if it goes wrong? Another piped up. Plans can change, and that's okay, Marissa laughed, recalling her own fears. It's all about learning and growing. And most importantly, it's about working together. She caught Ellie's gaze shining with pride and joy, and for a moment, everything felt right. As the class dismissed, Ellie rushed up to her, beaming. You were amazing, Mom. Thanks, sweetheart. You make it easy. Just as they were gathering their things, Marissa's phone buzzed. A message from Jack lit up the screen. Richard wants to meet. He was impressed by your passion. You've got this. Marissa's breath caught in her throat. The gravity of it crashed over her. Richard, the Millionaire CEO, was interested? She felt exhilarated yet terrified. Immediately doubt crept in again. What if she ruined this chance? What if he saw her as just a single mom playing dress-up? But when she looked at Ellie's eager face, the love pouring out of those young eyes grounded her. This is about us, Marissa thought. This is for our dreams. As they exited the school, every step toward her car felt heavy with possibility. Could this be the beginning of something larger? Would this truly change everything for them? And as she opened the car door, Ellie tugged her hand, pulling Marissa back to look at her. You'll be great, Mom. Just be you. The warmth of Ellie's belief washed over her. But just as quick, a thought broke through. What if I'm not enough? With her heart doing a somersault, Marissa glanced back at the school. This was just the start. She needed to embrace the leap into the unknown, where hope dwelled. With her daughter beside her, there was no turning back. Marissa's phone buzzed again, a reminder of Richard's meeting. She paused, the weight of choice settling in her chest. What if today truly marked a turning point? Would she find a way to balance the corporate world with her dreams? Taking a deep breath, she started the engine, heart racing at the uncertain but thrilling path ahead. If she was going to take this leap, she had to do it now. What awaited her at that meeting? Would it change everything for her and Ellie? Marissa drove in a daze, the road ahead nearly blending into a blurry mix of greenery and sky. A part of her was still basking in the afterglow of her presentation, the way the kids had hung on her words, and Ellie's proud smile. But now, with the message from Jack echoing in her mind, worry crowded in like a storm cloud. What if she fell apart in front of Richard? What if he saw the cracks that she had worked so hard to hide? The fancy office building loomed ahead, sleek and imposing. She swallowed hard, fighting the rising panic. I can do this, she murmured to herself, more a mantra than a belief. As she parked, Ellie's cheerful voice broke through her anxious thoughts. Can I come with you? I want to see your office, Mom. Marissa looked into the rearview mirror, catching Ellie's eager expression. Her heart melted slightly. Sweetheart, I don't think that's how it works. This meeting is for grown-ups, she replied softly, hoping her face didn't betray her nerves. But what if it's boring? I can help you if you need it. Ellie's enthusiasm was infectious, but Marissa shook her head gently. It's really important that I do this on my own, okay? Ellie's eyes flickered with disappointment, but she quickly nodded. Okay, but you'll call me, right? I promise, Marissa said, ruffling her daughter's hair before stepping out of the car. The lobby was bustling, filled with people in crisp suits bustling toward glass elevators. Marissa felt like a deer caught in headlights. She clutched her bag tightly, forcing herself to breathe through the overwhelming sense of imposter syndrome that threatened to trap her as she walked to the designated meeting room. Each step felt heavier. Her mind raced. She replayed every class she'd ever taken, wondering if any of it would matter now. Would she be able to impress Richard? Or would he see through the bravado to the fear trembling just beneath her skin? Just then she spotted Jack leaning against a wall, his warm smile cutting through the tension. You made it. You're going to be great. Just remember what you told those kids about being yourself. That simple reminder was a lifeline. Thanks, Jack. I really hope I am enough, she confessed, letting the words slip out. You are, he said firmly. They want your passion and your ideas. Just remember, you're not here to fit into a mold. You're here to break it. Marissa felt a ripple of warmth in his words. She straightened her blazer, all at once feeling both empowered and terrified. With a quick nod, Jack led her into the meeting room. The atmosphere shifted. She was greeted by Richard's presence, commanding yet inviting, standing with a group of fellow executives. His sharp suit contrasted with Marissa's smart casual look, and for a fleeting moment, she felt out of place. Marissa! Richard's voice echoed slightly as he approached. There was a warmth in his demeanor that eased her tension just enough for her to meet his eye. I'm glad you could join us. I was impressed by what I heard yesterday. I wanted to explore how we could work together. Feeling the weight of his gaze on her, Marissa struggled to focus. This was not just a meeting about business. This was her chance to show them who she was. "Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Bell. I believe change starts with collaboration," she said, surprising even herself with the steadiness in her voice. Richard smiled approvingly, and they began discussing ideas, trading thoughts back and forth. The room brightened and suddenly, moments that felt daunting became engaging. Then, just as the meeting seemed to take off, something unanticipated happened. Richard leaned forward, a look of intrigue crossing his face. "Tell me more about your experience as a single mother navigating a professional life. It must give you a unique perspective." Marissa's heart skipped. She hadn't expected this angle. Navigating both worlds is challenging, she started, her honesty taking a front seat. "But each experience shapes how I see potential and resilience." The attentive silence in the room surrounded her like a warm blanket. Each word seemed to ignite a connection with them. As they continued, Marissa realized there was something more at play here. Maybe it was a realization of her own strength, or the shared understanding forming in the room. Just then her phone buzzed again in her pocket, a sharp reminder of Ellie waiting just outside. A thought struck her hard. Would she have the courage to be vulnerable? "Perhaps the biggest challenge," she began, looking straight into Richard's eyes, "is believing you can design your own future, especially when you constantly doubt it." Richard nodded, and something shifted in the atmosphere. What would he say next? Would this connection mean more than the opportunity she was seeking? Feeling the heartbeat of the moment, Marissa paused, waiting, both hopeful and anxious about what would come of this revelation. Would she find the courage not just to seize this moment but to unveil her truth? Marissa held her breath, caught in a moment that felt suspended in time. The silence in the room was thick with anticipation, as if everyone was waiting for the inevitable spark. Richard's gaze held hers, steady and unwavering. It felt as if he could see right through her, peeling back layers of insecurity to uncover the passionate woman beneath. "Designing your own future," he echoed thoughtfully, glancing at his colleagues. "That's what we're all here for, isn't it? We often forget that we can craft our paths, especially when we're navigating through the chaos of life." A soft understanding rippled through the room, and for the first time, Marissa felt like she wasn't alone in her struggles. This wasn't just her battle. This was shared. A sigh of relief escaped her. Richard shifted his posture, leaning in slightly. "Tell me, what do you think the biggest hurdle is for someone trying to manage both worlds?" Marissa felt the fresh wave of vulnerability rise within her. Yet beneath it was a surge of courage. "I think for many it's fear. Fear of not being enough in either area at work or at home. It's that constant push and pull where it feels like you're failing at both." Nods of empathy spread across the faces in the room. Marissa noticed one of the younger executives, a woman with dark-rimmed glasses, leaning forward, as if Marissa's words were resonating with her deeply. "And what if I told you," Richard replied, his voice gentle but firm, "that embracing those fears is the first step towards empowerment? You're already doing something remarkable by being here today." Marissa felt a warmth bloom in her chest. Could it be that simple? Could acknowledging her struggles empower her rather than diminish her? Life can be a juggling act, but each of us has a unique way of transforming that chaos into something beautiful, Marissa said, her voice gaining strength. "I want my daughter to see me as someone who builds her own future, not just someone who survives day to day." Richard's eyes flickered with appreciation. "That is what we need more of, people who live their truths and inspire others to do the same." They continued discussing strategies, and Marissa found herself almost forgetting her initial fear. Ideas flowed freely now, sparked by that newfound connection. The room buzzed with excitement as they exchanged thoughts on building a more inclusive work culture, one that understood the challenges of juggling family and ambition. But just as things seemed to gain momentum, her phone buzzed again, this time more insistent. She fished it out of her pocket, glancing quickly at the screen. It was a text from Ellie. "Mom, are you done yet? I miss you." Her heart sank slightly, the weight of reality pushing back in. The meeting was going well, but Ellie was waiting for her. Biting her lip, Marissa forwarded a small smile to Richard, who noticed the change in her demeanor. "Everything all right?" he asked, genuine concern surfacing. "Just my daughter," she admitted, her thoughts shifting. Here she was, connecting, discussing change, yet she felt a tug at her heart. Could she really balance it all? What if she had to choose? Richard nodded, a knowing glimmer in his eyes. Family first. I completely understand. They're our greatest inspiration. Marissa felt a tug of hope. Perhaps this connection with Richard, this opportunity, didn't he have to come at the expense of her role as a mother? Could be both if she played her cards right. Thank you for your understanding, she said. I think we're on the verge of something great here. Richard smiled, and for a moment, Marissa felt like nobody else existed in that room. But the moment was fleeting. Taking a deep breath, she realized she hadn't just revealed her fears. She had also unearthed her resolve to create a space where both her professional aspirations and her role as a mother could coexist. As the meeting wrapped up, Richard looked at her seriously. Let us keep this dialogue going, Marissa. I want to hear more about your vision. Marissa's heart raced at the prospect. What did their future collaboration hold? Would this bridge she was beginning to cross lead to new heights or new challenges? Walking out of the room, the sound of Richard's sincere support still echoing in her mind, she checked her phone again. Another text. Mom, please come home soon. I need your help with something. The urgency in Ellie's message hit hard. Suddenly, the meeting and newfound possibilities felt like they were hanging in the balance. What did Ellie need? What awaited her at home? And could she truly juggle both worlds? As she stepped into the bustling lobby, an electric mixture of anxiety and excitement coursed through her. This wasn't just about a business opportunity. This was about her family, her future. And the real question loomed. What sacrifices would she have to make to embrace it all? Marissa hurried through the lobby, her heart racing with every step. The glow of the building's glass facade reflected her swirling emotions, hope melding with an undeniable tension. She needed to get home to Ellie, to understand what was happening that required her daughter's urgent plea. As she navigated through the crowd, the chatter around her faded into a distant hum, like a rushing river enveloping her thoughts. Memories of Ellie flooded back, the laughter, the late-night talks, the proud moments when her daughter beamed with admiration. Each recollection reminded Marissa of the responsibility she carried, not just as a mother but as a role model. Picking up her pace, fear crept into her thoughts. What if she was failing Ellie? What if her daughter felt neglected? How could Marissa carve out a successful path for both herself and her child when every moment was a balancing act? Finally reaching her car, she fumbled with her keys, her hands trembling slightly. She slid into the driver's seat, grateful for the brief solitude. Taking a deep breath, she started the engine, her mind racing through the day's possibilities. Could she really create a life where both ambition and motherhood thrived side by side? Pulling into her driveway, she spotted Ellie's favorite yellow bicycle on the front lawn, and her heart squeezed tightly. Why was her daughter anxious? Marissa stepped out of the car, resolve pouring through her veins. The door swung open, the familiar scent of home easing some of her worries, but her mind was still turbulent with questions. Mom! Ellie rushed into view, her face twisted with concern, her stress palpable. Hey, sweetheart. What's wrong? Marissa knelt down, instantly drawing Ellie into a warm embrace. I tried to finish the math homework, but I can't get it. Ellie's voice trembled, and Marissa felt a surge of guilt. Here she was, so focused on her own ambitions that she hadn't noticed her daughter's struggle. It's okay, we'll tackle it together, Marissa assured, standing up and taking Ellie by the hand toward the kitchen. Sitting at the table, they rummaged through papers, textbooks, and various colored pencils. Each equation felt like a new challenge, mirroring her own journey. Marissa's heart warmed as she watched Ellie concentrate, her small brow furrowed in determination. This was the essence of motherhood, being present, encouraging resilience while also fighting her own doubts. Here, let me show you, Marissa said softly, stepping into the role of the teacher. As she explained, a sense of clarity swept over her. This moment mattered just as much as any meeting or business pitch. The bridge between her dual worlds started to form. While they worked through the problems, Ellie suddenly burst out, Mom, I know you're really busy, but I want to do more fun things together. Like, can we try that painting class? Marissa's heart swelled. Of course. I promise we will. I want to make time for us. The conversation flowed easily from there, with giggles interspersed with math. Yet, a question tickled the edges of her mind. Wasn't she just making excuses? Could she really weave her professional dreams into the fabric of her life as a mother? As they finally wrapped up the homework, a thought struck Marissa. What if she could bring Ellie into her professional world? The idea lit a fire in her heart. What if the painting class could shift into something greater, a project that blended her work aspirations with quality time? Tell me, what is your favorite thing to paint? She asked, her mind already racing ahead. Ellie's face lit up with excitement as she animatedly shared her dream to paint a mural, something colorful and vibrant. Could we do something like that together? Something that tells our story? Marissa suggested, her heart hopeful. Yes, that would be amazing, Ellie replied, her eyes sparkling as they cleaned up. Marissa's phone buzzed again. It was Richard, a new message lighting up the screen. Could we meet tomorrow? I want to discuss those ideas we talked about. The gears in her mind turned. With a sudden realization, she asked herself, could she navigate this new partnership while including Ellie? A collaboration that not only elevated her career but also strengthened their bond. The questions hung heavy in the air as the evening settled around them. What would combining her worlds look like? And could they really embrace this journey together? As Marissa tucked Ellie into bed later that night, the spark of inspiration flickered within her. Tomorrow she would face Richard and their ideas, but tonight, she would nurture this new potential. Would this merger of ambition and motherhood lead to something profound, or unravel at the seams? Marissa closed her daughter's bedroom door, her heart racing with hope and fear. Tomorrow would be a decisive step, and she knew the path ahead was still uncertain. Marissa awoke the next morning, sunlight streaming into the room, casting a warm glow over Ellie's still sleeping form. The previous night's thoughts raced through her mind like a film reel. The possibilities felt endless. Today was not just another day. It held the potential for transformation. After a quick breakfast filled with chatter about paint colors and dreams of murals, Marissa adjusted her blazer and grabbed her bag. She turned to Ellie, a surge of protectiveness washing over her. Today's a big day for me, but remember, you're right there with me in spirit. Go knock him dead, Mom. Ellie cheered, her little voice brimming with pride. As Marissa arrived at her office, she felt a mix of exhilaration and nerves. The tall glass towers of the city felt overwhelming, but today she wasn't alone. Ellie's enthusiasm bolstered her confidence, turning each step into a declaration of intent. When she reached the conference room, Richard was already there, flipping through the agenda. Seeing him sparked mixed feelings in her. He was the symbol of her aspirations, but also a looming reminder of the stakes. As they exchanged greetings, the energy charged the air. She sensed anticipation, but also a hint of trepidation. Morning, Marissa. Ready to dive into these ideas? Richard asked, looking up with a welcoming smile. She nodded, her heart pounding. Absolutely. I've been thinking a lot about our last discussion. As she spoke, she couldn't shake the thought of involving Ellie. Could her personal and professional lives interlace in a way that honored both? Ideas flowed, and Marissa found herself getting lost in the conversation, her visions blossoming in front of her. Richard contrasted her pace with steady logic, offering angles she hadn't considered. Yet, there was something exhilarating about pitching a project that included color, creativity, and passion, elements that felt much more alive than typical business discussions. Then it hit her. What if we incorporated community art events? Something that empowers local children to express themselves through art? Richard raised an eyebrow, intrigue evident on his face. And how would that work? Marissa took a deep breath. Ellie suggested we create a mural together. It struck me how much we could do together if we open this initiative to kids. It could bridge art and corporate responsibility, while helping them find their voices. Richard's eyes lit up, and for a moment, their synergy felt electric. That's brilliant, Marissa. I can see it clearly, a partnership that brings your vision and the company's mission together. Encouraged by his response, the ideas shifted from sketches to tangible plans. They brainstormed details, with Richard occasionally throwing in concepts that felt particularly corporate. But Marissa pushed back, urging him to embrace the heartfelt essence of the initiative. Just as the meeting reached a pivotal moment, Marissa's phone vibrated again. She glanced down at the screen, her heart skipping. A photo of Ellie, paint-splattered and smiling, sent with the message, "Can't wait to paint the mural, Mom." The sight warmed her heart but also reminded her of the responsibility waiting at home. Richard noticed her distraction. "Everything okay?" She smiled, but a shred of anxiety bled through. Yes, just a little reminder of my inspiration. Don't forget to bring her into this, he said softly, your vision is stronger with her included. As they wrapped up, Marissa felt elation but also uncertainty gnawing at her. She had opened a door to collaboration, yet personal and professional lines began to blur. Could she truly bring Ellie's spirit into her work without compromising her ambitions? Later, as Marissa returned home, excitement surged within her. Ellie, she called, rushing to find her daughter. You won't believe what happened today. Seeing Ellie's curious eyes met her with warmth. Yet beneath that rush of joy simmered a question. Would this path bring true fulfillment? Or was it all just a balancing act leading to chaos? Before she could get lost in her thoughts, Ellie's face lit up. Did you tell them about the mural? Marissa knelt, pulling Ellie close. Even better, we're planning it together. As they hugged, ready to discuss their colorful plans, Marissa's mind raced. What if today's venture revealed connections she never imagined? Could they create something beautiful together? And just as hope sparked within her, another message popped up on her phone. It was Richard again. Let us meet next week. I've had some second thoughts. Did he doubt their idea? Or was it something more profound? An unsettling feeling churned in her stomach as a new wave of uncertainty washed over her. What lay ahead? Would they cast a colorful mural on the wall of opportunity? Or would it all come crashing down before it began? Marissa stood in the doorway of her home, watching Ellie's face shimmer with excitement. We're really going to do this, Mommy? A mural? Her daughter's enthusiasm poured over her like sunshine, warming her doubts. Yes, sweetheart. A mural that sings our story, Marissa replied, kneeling to pull Ellie into a hug. As they discussed colors and designs, each moment shared painted the future she had yearned for. There was a depth to their connection now, a new thread tying their aspirations together. Ellie squealed, can we add a rainbow too? For all the veterans. Yes, a rainbow of hope, Marissa agreed, her heart swelling. It struck her that this project represented more than art. It was about legacy. It was about teaching Ellie to weave her passions into the world. Days turned into a week, filled with painted canvases and laughter, mirroring their dreams. But the looming meeting with Richard created a storm cloud of anxiety in the back of Marissa's mind. Finally, she walked into the conference room, her heart racing. Richard awaited, the atmosphere charged with anticipation, as if they were ready to create magic. The path toward the mural project invited excitement, but also uncertainty. As they shared their ideas, Richard's demeanor shifted, a subtle frown creased his brow. Marissa, I love the mural concept, but I worry it may not align with the corporate vision. We must stay on brand. A chill crept into Marissa's heart. Every word he spoke felt like a threat to the beautiful mural swirling in her mind. But Richard, it's about connecting with people, about empathy. It's real. The veterans need this. The kids need this. Richard paused. I understand, but what you're proposing may not yield the return we need on our investment. Marissa swallowed hard, bringing forth the strength she had cultivated through her journey. I see it differently. The return is not just financial. It's about impact. This initiative could resonate in our community more profoundly than bottom-line numbers. The silence hung thick in the air, hearts in the room weighing her words. Suddenly she thought of Ellie, painting with joy, the bright colors echoing hope. She had to stand up for them both. Richard cracked a small smile, a glimmer of intrigue in his eyes. You're passionate, I'll give you that. But how do we measure success here, Marissa? By the smiles we create. By the stories we spark. What if we did this mural to capture the essence of the veterans' sacrifices? A living tribute. Richard leaned back, contemplating. Okay, let us explore a pilot program. We'll need metrics to see if it garners interest, but if it does, he was willing to entertain it. Marissa felt the boundaries begin to soften, the space around them pulsating with potential. I promise to work hard on tracking results. This isn't just about this mural, it's about changing mindsets, opening hearts. As Marissa left the meeting, elation washed over her. She had partly won Richard over. They were moving forward into an exciting, uncharted territory where art met purpose. The mural would thrive in the community, learn from the veterans and uplift children like Ellie. With the newfound momentum, Marissa raced home, her heart light with hope. She burst through the door, and Ellie's bright face greeted her. Did you get to do the mural? Yes. And I need my little artist to help me. They moved to the kitchen gathering supplies, and as they shared their vision, each brushstroke turned into a promise, a pathway for both of their dreams. In the days that followed, together they explored colors, laughter, and the satisfaction of neat lines. Each day brought layers of paint and deeper meaning. The day of the mural unveiling arrived, enveloping the neighborhood in anticipation. As Marissa stood before the framed canvas, her heart raced not with fear, but with unyielding pride. The vibrant colors captured the essence of hope, honoring the veterans, speaking volumes of gratitude. As the crowd applauded, Ellie pressed her cheek against Marissa's arm, bursting with joy. Finally Richard approached, a bright smile breaking across his face. Marissa, you did it. This is exactly the kind of impact we want to create. With tears of happiness blurring her vision, Marissa realized this journey wasn't just about business. It was about blossoming into the woman she always meant to be. She turned to Ellie, who beamed up at her. See, Mommy? You can do it all. Yes, we can do this together, Marissa exclaimed, glowing with hope and purpose. This was just the beginning. Together they had crafted something beautiful, a fusion of ambition and love. Marissa's heart soared. Every moment with Ellie had inspired not just a project, but a future. As they embraced, every brushstroke marked a journey of hope, the story of a single mother and her daughter, forever intertwined in a vibrant tapestry of possibility. Now let us make sure you don't miss out on any of our exclusive stories. You need to subscribe now for more incredible journeys just like this one. And if you love this transformation, leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Every click matters. Comment below with your thoughts on this heartwarming ending. How did it inspire you? And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread hope and inspiration together.